What is going on, everybody? Texas Garden Guy here, and it is Sunday morning. Got home to a papaya. I had to get out of town for a couple days, and so it had been sitting on my front porch, but it still looks like it's pretty well alive. This is from Logi's. We are doing a challenge on my podcast, The Garden Party, between me, Phil's Figs, Dez, and Josh, the plant techie, to see who can grow the biggest, quickest papaya. What they don't know is I already have a little bit of experience with papayas. Yeah, this is my papaya tree that I picked up in December last year, and it grew in my greenhouse to probably 4 feet tall over the winter time. I keep my greenhouse. I really only have to keep my greenhouse like maybe a full week the entire year. The rest of the time, the structure itself, the plastic, does good enough. But this one actually has a papaya on it right now. It's not ripened. Looks like there's a couple more coming in. Yeah, it's been really nice. And it's about as thick as my leg. I thought about moving it and trying to put it into the greenhouse for overwintering this year, but like it's just once they get into the ground, like if the tap roots go through the bottom of the pot into the ground, you're gonna probably kill it when you transplant it. When you move it, I had the same problem last year. I tried to take one that was like this into the greenhouse, try to overwinter it, and when I pulled it, it had tap roots going into the ground, and it didn't survive the shock. So be cognizant of that. Once you get it somewhere, you're gonna have to leave it there. So in this 3-gallon pot, it'll be fine over winter. In the spring, I'll probably put it in a 15-gallon pot like that, but I'll probably leave it in the greenhouse. I probably won't bring it out. So that's one thing to think about. Papayas are typically an annual. They're typically something you're gonna buy a new one every year. You're gonna grow from seed every year. You're not typically gonna keep the same papaya tree over and over, unless you live in a really tropical climate. It's in anywhere north of like zone 10, you're probably going to be growing a new one every single year. You're not going to be keeping the same one, like I said, unless you have it inside of a greenhouse. I was in Mississippi and I saw a place where they had it grew to the bottom of the pot and they left it, and it's been there for like 10 years, growing like crazy. So really something cool to think about when you're growing papaya. But we're going to check out my little guy now. Going in fall, I should be getting a papaya from that tree already. So I have no doubt that we will do well with this one. So let's get started. Some of the materials I'm going to be using today, I have some gloves. I have some soil. Today we're going to be using pot dirt. They're a local company here out of Houston. This is in a, I believe, 4-inch pot. So we're going to be going with a 3-inch pot. And because this is going to be in this pot for a long period of time, I want a really thick one. It's a really thick pot, heavy duty. So I didn't go with a cheaper one. Papayas typically don't like being transplanted. I've had some bad incidents with transplanting papayas. So I'm going to make sure to use my Genesis transplant mix. This is from Nelson Plant Food. And I'm also going to be top dressing with some citrus fruit and avocado from Nelson Plant Food to help, get it going. And you wouldn't normally fertilize something like this going into winter, but this will be in my greenhouse. So it's going to be growing all winter long. It'll be absorbing those nutrients. So don't sweat it. We're good to go. I also have one of these mixing pots, these little mixing trays. These are from Home Depot. These are like mixing cement. And I use these for mixing soil with perlite or whatever. Pretty sure this has enough perlite in it. So we don't need to add any, but if we do, we can grab something in the garage. I always keep like a trash can full of perlite in the garage ready to go in case I need it. So let's get started. I'm going to take my pot dirt, open this bag up. Yeah, it's got plenty of perlite. Should be good. Anytime you do anything in a container, you want to make sure you have some kind of aggregate, perlite or something to help with drainage. If it's just all, compost or manure or whatever, it's going to hold too much water. So I'm going to be cognizant of that. So went ahead and dumped this whole bag. This is 1.5 cubic feet. So what I'm going to do now is with a transplant mix, instead of putting it at the bottom of the hole, I'm just going to sprinkle some into the soil like this. You're not going to overdo it. There's instructions, follow the instructions, but I kind of eyeball it. I kind of know what I like. This is a 2-pound jar. I probably did about, a third of it. So a little under maybe 10 ounces for the whole batch. Grab a scoop. This is actually one of my favorite scoops, my tools. This is a crawfish scoop from Academy. So I'll just mix it up a little bit. And I probably could add a little bit of perlite to this, but I think we're good. There's enough in here. I've had good experience with this soil in particular in the past, so I'm not really that worried about it. So if I was doing a big batch, I'd pull the cement mixer out and mix perlite and all that good stuff in here. You could go ahead and mix the citrus and stuff in here as well if you're doing more citrus than this, but I'm just going to wait and top dress it because I'm going to use this for other stuff. Right, so kind of mix that in. So side, or we'll go grab a pot. Probably fill this up about 2/3 of the way. Just doing this on my phone today, trying to get this guy planted. If I had more time to set up, I would probably get my other camera out, but this guy's been sitting for a while on the front porch, so I want to go ahead and get it planted. All right, so got our papaya tree. I thought these were roots. It's packing. Okay, that makes it feel better. I thought it was like super root bound. I was like, whoa. No, it's just packing material, so it keeps the soil in the pot whenever it's being shipped. While I'm doing this, I'll go ahead and snip off some of these worn out looking leaves. It could bounce back, but I just want the energy to be focused on the new leaves and the new growth. So we'll just cut those off. And you got a new branch and a new leaf right there, so we're gonna leave those, but I think these will recover quickly, especially with this Nelson plant food mix, this transplant mix. And then I'll take those leaves actually I cut off, I'll stick them back in the pot. It's not gonna hurt nothing. Kind of compost in the pot. So get a little more soil in here. And this is a competition. I'm very competitive, so I plan on having the biggest papaya and the biggest papaya tree. Boom. Do a little more. Just like that. All right. Make sure we don't lose the label. An unlabeled plant is pointless. So I'm going to try to get that label in there where you can see it nice and perfect. We're going to take our Nelson's, what is it called? Fruit, citrus, and avocado. I'm going to give it a good sprinkle. And so this one is going to grow pretty crazy in the greenhouse over winter, like my other one did. They don't typically like to be transplanted. So that's the thing. So usually when they're this big, you'd usually go in like a 3-gallon pot, wait for the roots to start coming out the bottom, and then you transplant it to like a 15 or a 30, and then you wouldn't want to transplant it after that. So it's kind of in that middle point where I almost thought about putting this straight into a 15-gallon pot, just so I don't have to deal with the transplant shock. But with that Genesis, it kind of helps it out. So I'm not too worried about it, but we're gonna get this watered in, and then we're gonna put it in a shady spot and let it recover from the transplant, because it's gonna be a little stressed out. It's gonna be stressed out from being shipped, and it's gonna be really beneficial for the plant to get like a nice little shady spot, let it recover, and then we will sit it in the greenhouse in the wintertime. In that package to get a little bit of relief. All right, so you can see my new papaya. This is my big papaya. Very excited to do this challenge and destroy Phil, Josh, and Dez. I am a very competitive person. I plan on winning this I plan on winning this challenge. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or you think I did some stuff wrong, one tip that I have heard that I haven't done this year yet, and I probably am going to soon, is if you're ready for this thing to stop putting on new leafy growth and you want to start focusing on fruit, you would go ahead and you start cutting off the top growth, like the really new stuff, and kind of want to set its energy back downwards into producing fruit, producing blooms. So I probably do need to come in here and trim some of this top growth off. That's one little wives' tale thing I've heard, like a little tips and trick thing that I've heard. If you want your pie to stop putting out the leafy growth and start focusing on putting out, the right growth for like your fruit and your blooms. Another thing to think about is maybe switching to a different fertilizer, plant food whenever you're doing this. My Nelson plant food, citrus and avocado, is made for fruit bearing trees. And so that's something that I do feed mine. And so I have been getting fruit. Sorry, I've been getting blooms, and I've got a couple of pollinated fruits on here. Haven't got any fruit yet. But that's something to look out for, something to pay attention to, because if you go putting like a super high nitrogen fertilizer on here, you're going to get a ton of leafy growth. You're not going to get any blossoms. So blossoms equals fruit. So make sure you pay attention to that. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed this video. And we're going to destroy Phil, Des, and Josh. And thank you to Josh. Thank you to Logies for like sponsoring this video by sending us all these trees. Like, I'm so excited to try these out. So thank you all very much. We'll see you on the next one.